Hi, everybody. Welcome to the month of December and our last book talk of 2020. Holy cow, how has that happened? I'm excited to talk with you today about some books and get you ready for winter break. And I hope that you're ready to check out some books, through our library. If you haven't already been doing so, be sure and put some books on hold for over that break when you have some downtime and can catch up on some reading. If you have any questions about placing books on hold and need help with that process, be sure and reach out to me on Schoology. I'd be happy to walk you through it. We can get you those books and have you swing by the main office and pick them up on the cart that is just in that vestibule right there at the front of the building. Before we get there, I don't know about you, but it has been a little bit of a struggle lately to find time to read for fun. I don't know if it's just because, the days are getting shorter with, sunshine and all that, but it has been harder to find time to read for fun these days. And so I wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about establishing some habits for reading. One thing to keep in mind is if you haven't already been doing so, having that list of books and new materials that you want to be reading is a really good way to be sure that you have something ready to read when you have the time. You might finish a book, a comic, a graphic novel, a magazine, whatever it is that you've been reading, and then you might be ready to read something else but not have that material ready for you. So be sure that you have some things set, whether you've got that list going or you've got a stack of books from our library or your local public library. If you're using your Mac and Via app on your iPad, great. But be sure that you are kind of continuing to have those materials handy so that when you are ready to read that next thing, you know where to go. Find ways to make reading part of your schedule. I don't know about you, but for me, it's easiest to read at night when my family, is quieter and my kids have gone to bed. For you, maybe it's in the morning, before the day kind of gets started. Maybe you're someone who likes to go outside, do some walking or biking or, other activity. And so it's, maybe putting earbuds in and listening to an audiobook is a way to make reading a part of your daily schedule. But whatever it is, find a way to connect reading to your everyday life so that it becomes part of your habit. Connect it to your personal interests and your hobbies. If it's animals or arts and crafts or, how things work, taking them apart, putting them back together, sports, whatever it is that you're interested in, read more about that and learn about it. The more that we read about a topic we care about, the more reading becomes interesting and satisfying to us, and the more that we want to do it. And then in terms of getting recommendations, I'm one person to give you some ideas. Your teacher is another. Family members might be giving you some ideas of some things to read, but also reach out to your friends and your classmates because those people who are your age are probably one of the best ways to get good ideas of things to read next. Speaking of things to read, there are a lot of great books we got from our Scholastic Book Fair. They should be available in the LMC really soon. I'm hoping even before winter break you might be able to check out a couple of these books. These are just a few that we purchased. And so, be sure and take a screenshot if any of these sound good, if you want to add them to your list. These were just some of the books that we ended up buying, but these will also be scrolling across the top of that Destiny Discover catalog. That top banner, we'll be putting those up there at the top so that some of these books are available. You might even be one of the very first people at Valley to read one of these great books. So we'll hope that one of these or more sound like a good one to you. First book I'm sharing with you today is called The Boy on Cinnamon Street, and it's by Phoebe Stone. This is one of those realistic fiction stories that's just a great book in that it's got characters that really seem like real people that you could go to school with. It's about real life situations and real life relationships. This is about Louise who, things in her life should be all working out a lot better than they are. And At the beginning of this story, it's kind of a puzzle to the reader as to why they aren't. She should be the captain of her gymnastics team because she's a great gymnast, she's a leader, and yet she isn't the captain. She should have lots of friends because she's fun, she's smart, she's got a lot going for her, and yet she, doesn't have a lot of people that surround her. She's got a crush on a guy who has a crush on her back, and so that should be going well too. That still isn't really working out either. It's like everything in her life just isn't quite lining up. It's close, but not quite. And it's evident at the beginning of the book that there's some family secret that Louise is keeping hidden. And that secret seems to be affecting her confidence, and it seems to be affecting how she interacts with people. And it's holding her back. It's keeping her from realizing her dreams and really being the person that she knows she can be. And this story is about how she comes to terms with that secret and decides she's not going to let it hold her back any longer. This story, The Boy on Cinnamon Street, is about someone finding the confidence to be themselves. Try this one out by Phoebe Stone. Numbers by Rachel Ward in science fiction is kind of an unusual story, but I loved the idea behind this book because I think just what a crazy idea this author had to have to come up with even the idea behind it. In this story, our main character, when she looks into someone's eyes, she sees numbers. Numbers pop into her head as soon as she looks at somebody's face. But the numbers are not just random numbers, they're dates. And they're not just random dates. The dates are predictions, and they're accurate predictions. They are true life predictions of the date that person will die. So imagine this. If you were this character, you're walking down the hallways of Valley Middle School, and you can look in someone's eyes and see the date pop up of their face, the date that they're going to die. And that person doesn't know it. You know it, though. You might not even know who that person is. Holy cow. So, okay, our main character, this happens to her. She hasn't asked for this power, but she can see this with people she knows. She can see it with strangers. She has kept people at a distance for kind of obvious reasons, right? It'd be really hard to get to know people and not tell them that you know exactly when they're going to die. Well, she gets to know this guy, decides she's going to take a chance and really kind of let him in as a friend, and then they become more than friends. And she decides that hopefully, even though she knows exactly when he's going to die, maybe they can be happy together even for that short time. But then something else happens. They take this trip to London, and it's clear that she can see the city is a target. The city basically has an expiration date, and she knows exactly when this city is gonna be destroyed. Try out this story. It is such an incredible ride to read this book. This idea of knowing exactly when something is going to end. And what do you do if you're the only one who knows that? What do you do with that knowledge? Incredible. Incredible. On a lighter side, I wanted to throw in a holiday read, and this book, What Light by Jay Asher, is a good one. It's a love story, and it's also set around Christmas time because our main character, Sierra, has grown up on a Christmas tree farm. That's what her family does for a living. They live in Oregon, and all year long, they grow Christmas trees. That's their job, is to make sure these trees grow all year long. And then for part of the year, for a couple months, they, chop down a bunch of the trees and they move them out to the state of California, where Christmas trees aren't going to naturally grow. And they sell these Christmas trees to families in California. So Sierra kind of lives two lives. She lives her life in Oregon, and she also lives her life in California because her family, splits their time between those two states. Sierra in this story meets a guy named Caleb, and I'm trying to remember because it's been a bit where she actually meets him. If it's in Oregon, I think it's in California that she meets him. Anyway, Caleb is not the kind of guy you want to bring home to meet your family. He has a bit of a reputation. He's kind of a guy who he's made some poor choices along the way, and her family isn't a fan. And so she is having to grapple with that. But I also just love the setting of this story being set around the holidays, and this idea of being at a Christmas tree farm plays a really large part in this book. So if you are in the mood for a romance, and if you're in the mood for a holiday story, check out What Light. Spy X, The Code, is the first book in this series, and I like this one because the very beginning of the story, we begin with this crazy mystery of Andrew and Evie's situation. They're twins. They're 12, and actually on their 11th birthday, their mom left a note behind. Left them this very kind of crazy note that they didn't quite understand. They can't quite figure out what the note meant. It's been a year now, and they receive on their 12th birthday this mysterious package from someone named Spy X. In this package, there's all kinds of things, a key, something that looks like a kaleidoscope, one of those things that you look through and you see all the different colors, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff in it. And they don't really know what to do with this package. They've moved to a new town. There's this package, and all they know is that they're pretty sure this package and all the stuff in it, and this person that just calls themselves Spy X is going to lead them to figuring out where their mom has gone. They just are not sure exactly where that is, and if that person can even really be trusted. All they know is it's the most information they've gotten in a full year since their mom has left. And so what do you do other than try to piece these keys or these clues together? If you like a story that has little clues, each chapter kind of leaving you on, leaving you with more, wanting to know more, wanting to find out what the next step is going to be, this would be a great book to pick up because it is one of those mysteries that is going to leave you hanging and wanting to turn to the next page to figure out what's going to happen with these twins. Where did their mom go? Why did she leave without explanation? Who is Spy X? And are they going to find out where their mom's taken off to and why she left without saying goodbye? And my last one is a lighthearted story by Gordon Corman. He's always writing the funny books, and Slacker's been around for a couple years now. This is the story of a kid who is such a slacker, plays video games all the time, hangs out in his basement. In fact, ended up down there one day when his parents left, and they were asking him to, I don't know if it was a casserole or lasagna or something, take it out of the oven when you hear the timer go off. He, removes his headphones for like half a second to say, yeah, go ahead, I'll do that. Puts the headphones back on, keeps gaming, and before he knows it, there are firefighters breaking the glass of his basement window to get him out. The house is filled with smoke. The alarm has been going off. Well, he didn't even know because the oven timer has been going off for who even knows how long, and the smoke has filled the kitchen, and it caused the alarm to go off, and the fire department had to come, and the whole 9 yards. Cameron had no idea. He was so into his video game and had his game volume up so loud. He had no clue. Forgot all about it. Well, Cameron's parents say that's it. We're drawing the line. You're not hanging out in the basement playing video games all day long, every day. We've reached our limit. And they decide he needs to get involved at school. That's going to be a solution to him slacking off all the time. Well, Cameron is no dummy, and he decides, okay, fine. My parents think I need to get involved in school. I'm not going to actually do something. I'm going to just make up a club, and I'm going to pretend that this club is something real, and then I'll just fake my way through it, and then I don't have to actually do anything. The problem is, when he does this, it is so convincing, it seems so real, that other kids believe it's a real club, And suddenly they're joining it, and Cameron becomes the president. And that's just the beginning of this story about a kid who is trying so hard to slack off that it ends up, just turning into a situation he can't undo. You're going to love this book. Anything by Gordon Korman is laugh out loud funny. And I won't explain the cover because that is something you've got to read about in the book. I hope something in my book talk today sounded like a good read to you. Hopefully, if a book fair book is one that you're wanting to check out, you will be looking on our catalog for those stories or connecting with me on Schoology to ask for something great to read. In the meantime, I hope that you are staying well and happy reading.